So digital maturity is basically, it's that spectrum between paper tickets all the way out to when you walk in, I know who you are from, because I was able to tell from your face who you were and facial detection. It's all the way out to there, and it's a spectrum between those 2 points. And depending on the size of your organization, it's whatever you need it to be to best suit the kind of customer that you're serving. I think for a long time, attractions worked with the get as many people on the vessel or in your attraction as possible. It was really about, it's a terrible analogy, but herding cattle. I mean, in many senses, you're just trying to get as many people through the line as possible because you're just trying to drive revenue, and you have a very canned experience that you're giving. Everyone's getting the same one. It's print and repeat. The modern consumer doesn't shop that way. Back 5 years ago, the big buzzword was experiences, and that everybody was coming to have an experience. They weren't coming to your attraction. They were coming to have a unique experience. And so for those places that decided that they were going to provide back behind the scenes stuff or things that people were willing to pay significantly more for, but they could tell their friends that they hadn't been able to see, like, you couldn't get into that, but I did. And there was a little bit of, hype around that for a while. So I think from a digital maturity standpoint, people expect a certain thing now that we don't necessarily as an industry give a lot of. I was just at a Disney conference, a Disney data conference, and I'm walking through the resort, and the resort has a specific smell. And you can buy that smell at Disney World or at Disney Springs in their shops to remind you of the resort. I mean, they've gone to such an extreme with customer so that they're literally like auditorily, olfactory. They're trying to engage you and remind you of the experience that you've had. We have a long way to go in tours and attractions to get to that level. That's a totally a Disney dream thing. But that idea of what we're doing with customer, we need to cater more to that, not less. Every customer comes in from either that paper ticket mentality all the way up to that Disney mentality of how deep you're willing to go inside of the customer experience, or that customer enablement kind of piece. For us, I think what we need to do is we need to enable people to mature. We need to help people to say, I'm at paper right now. I really would like to be digital. And so what I'm trying to solve for initially coming through the door is, can you digitize my records? Can you help me understand my customer well enough to say, people buying here and they're showing up here and I have a schedule? That's very early stage, very simple. But for some companies, that's just really what they need. But as they progress, they're going to say, well, actually, I want to know more about that customer that's coming through the door. I want to understand the segmentation of how they buy. I want to understand, when they're buying, the timings that they're buying. Is the weather impacting them as much as I think it is? What are they purchasing while they're inside the walls? So you kind of have that next phase. And then after that, the final phase of that really is customer gets a chance to choose what customer wants, and you're empowering customer to make those decisions, or that guest coming through the door, you're empowering them to make the decisions, not just reading off of what they're doing. You're giving them options that they're going to purchase from. And I think that's just it's a maturity process, and it takes time for every company to make those kind of steps. And at RocketRez, our job is to help you through that journey and specifically give you the tools to allow you to, at each step of the journey, be able to facilitate the needs that you currently have. I think the challenge with digital maturity is there isn't a roadmap that's been well defined inside of the marketplace. And it's part of what we're trying to do here at RocketRez, to say, here's how you would define digital maturity and how you would define how mature you are in it. There's no defined process right now. And I think that's at the detriment of the industry. So you look at, and I'm going to keep using Disney as the example because there's very few other examples that are of that caliber. Disney is over here there's no way I can spend $1 million on paint colors, because that's just ridiculous, down to the other side, which is I've been using paper for the last 60 years. It works just fine. I don't need anything else. There's such a spectrum there between those 2 points. I think what's happening now in the space is that we really need to get to a place where we go, here are those silos of I'm level 1, level 2, level 3, however many levels there are of maturity, and here's what you need to do to accomplish to get to the next level, and where are you comfortable as a company? Not every company wants to be Disney. Neither should every company be Disney. That's not the end goal. The end goal is to say, where do I meet my business goals the best, and where do I actually get the most value, and my consumer gets the most value? fundamentally, digital maturity is understanding your business well enough to know your client, your customer, that guest that's coming through the door, their needs, being able to operate off of what they're telling you. So actually collecting that information, understanding what that information is, and using that to in turn feed into giving them more of what they want as a consumer.